So to talk about kidney, it is a paired organ which is seen in the posterior abdominal wall. So the view which we are seeing now is posterior surface of our trunk. So in the posterior surface, if we remove the back muscle seen in the abdomen, we will approach the median part called vertebrae, and on either side of vertebrae we have got the organs such as kidney, which are paired organ. So if we remove the ligaments present, also we are going to remove the ribs seen in the one side, and along with that the muscle which we are seeing here is diaphragm. So if we remove all those structures, we can see the kidney's placement. So if you see the kidney, you can make out we will be having right kidney on the right side and this is left kidney. And if we make out the right and left kidney, the right kidney is somewhat lower in its situation compared to the left kidney. This is because the presence of liver will make the right kidney goes lower in its level. And then we have got the kidneys at a level of T12 to L3. So we have got T12 vertebra will be here, and this is considered as L3 vertebra. So from the T12 vertebra to the L3 vertebra, we have got the extent of kidney's placement. So this is right kidney and this is called as left kidney. And now talking about this kidney's placement, the major factors which are responsible for the placement of these kidneys in the posterior abdominal wall is, first thing is the pressure given by the neighboring organs. We can make out the organs present over here, and all these organs are responsible for maintaining the pressure over the kidneys to hold it in proper position. Along with that, we will be having some fascia covering this kidney, which is also going to keep the kidney in proper position. And then after, we have got an medial aspect of the kidney, such as if you remove these also, you can see the medial part, that is hilum of the kidney. So this part is called as hilum of kidney. So from there we have got some renal vessels, and also we have got renal pelvis. All those are considered as pedicle of the kidney. So these pedicels are also responsible for maintaining the kidney in position. So altogether, three important factors are there which is going to keep the kidney in proper position. That is, one is pressure given by the adjacent organs, and the second one is presence of renal fascia which is going to hold the kidney in position, and then we have got pedicels which is formed by renal vessels, and then we have got renal pelvis. All those are responsible for holding the kidney in proper position. So this is the view which we are seeing from the posterior aspect, and here we can make out some muscles over here, such as we have got some muscles from medial to lateral, such as we will be having psoas minor and major muscle, and then after we have got quadratus lumborum over here which we removed just now. So then after we have got transverse abdominis. All these muscles are going to cover immediately in the posterior surface of kidney in the lower part. In the upper part we had seen we have diaphragm part. So diaphragm forms the major relation in the upper part of posterior surface of kidney. So now we are going to see about the anterior view of this kidney. So if we are seeing the anterior view, we are going to remove again some structures present over here. So if we remove the structures such as rectus abdominis on either side, and then we are going to take out the peritoneal covering, and then we are going to remove the large intestine and small intestine, and then we are going to remove the greater omentum, and then we have so much of vessels, lymphatic part. All those if we are removing, we will approach the anterior aspect of kidney. So here if you are seeing, we can make out psoas major muscle here, and this part is pancreas and this is duodenum. So if you remove this duodenum and pancreas along with the vessels such as artery and veins present over here, we can approach the liver present over the upper part, and if you remove liver, we can see the stomach over here. So if you remove the stomach part also, we can see the proper position of right kidney and the left kidney present over here. So both the kidneys are covered by the abdominal organs present over anterior region. So this is the posterior most organ and it is called as retroperitoneal organ, such as it is present behind the peritoneum of the abdomen. So we are calling it as retroperitoneal organ. So this is the organ which we are going to see detailedly now about its facial coverings in detail and also about its relation. So now we will move on to the diagrammatic representation of kidneys.
So in today's topic we are going to deal about the important organ present in abdomen, which is a paired organ seen on either side of our body in posterior abdominal wall, that is kidneys, which is paired, will be seen on right and left side. So kidney, the main function, it is considered as pair of excretory organ. So general feature we are dealing is just a pair of excretory organ seen in posterior abdominal wall, and the main function of this is eliminating the nitrogenous waste. Eliminate the nitrogenous waste. Now we will move on to our anatomical parts or properties of this kidney. Talking about anatomical parts, first we are going to deal about the situation. So situation of the kidney, where it is present, we are going to deal. So talking about situation, as I said before, it is a posterior abdominal wall organ and it is present behind the peritoneum. So it is retroperitoneal in posterior abdominal wall, and it is seen as a paired organ. So it is seen on either side of vertebral column. So either side of vertebral column we have got this organ, and extent of this kidney, it is from T12 to L3 vertebral level, and compared to the right kidney, left kidney will be in higher level, that I will show you in a picture. Now we will move on to the axis of kidney, how it is placed. So talking about axis, we have got first the vertebral level we will see, so it will be easy for us. As I said, we have got right kidney somewhere here and left kidney, sorry about this, not this one. So I will show you another image where the upper end will be medially placed. So this is the right kidney, and just above that we will be having left kidney placed. So this is right kidney and this is left kidney. Now we have got a plane called transpyloric plane. So that transpyloric plane, it will be passing, crossing the upper notch of right kidney to the lower notch of left kidney. So this plane is called as transpyloric plane. So this is the plane which is passing horizontally, which is occupying the upper notch of right kidney and lower notch of left kidney because of their orientation in the levels. Now talking about the vertebral level, we have got the kidney placed opposite to T12, starting from T12, L1, L2 and L3 vertebra. So these are the vertebral levels which is present adjoining to this organ, and on either side of this vertebral level we have got a kidney. Now we will move on to the measurements and shape of the kidney. Talking about the measurement, we will finish off here. So measurement, length will be around 11 centimeter and breadth will be around 6 centimeter. If you are talking about the weight, it varies in male and female. In males it will be about 150 to 170 gram and in females it will be 130 to 150 gram. Now we will move on to the major description of anatomical feature. So first we will move on to the shape of the kidney. So we are going to see about the shape of kidney. So this shape of kidney, it is bean shaped, as you already know, and the hilum will be, so bean shape in the sense it will be somewhat like this, and this is considered as concavity which is placed medially. So this is kidney which is bean shaped and this is right kidney, and this is the concavity seen in the medial aspect. So this is medial and this is lateral aspect, this is upper and lower part. So this is how we have got kidney placed. And here some factors are there to maintain the kidney in proper position. Those are, first we have got pressure exerted from the neighboring viscera. Surrounding viscera are going to give some pressure which is going to hold the kidney in proper position. And we have got some fascia covering this kidney, and that fascia is called as renal fascia, and some fat also will be seen surrounding it. Those also are features for holding the kidney in proper position. And then we have got a root over here, we will call that as pedicel of kidney, which is going to transmit vessels and ureter. Those are also some factors which is going to hold the kidney in position. Now we will move on to major aspect, that is coverings of kidney. So we are going to see about the details of coverings of kidney. So covering the kidney is covered by 4 layers. So those 4 layers from within outwards we are going to see. So from within outwards, what are the coverings seen in kidney we are seeing? So first thing which is immediately covering the kidney is we have got fibrous capsule. So first one is fibrous capsule, and the next one is we have got a fatty layer called perinephric fat, and then we have got major fascia, that is renal fascia or fascia of Geroda, and then we have got paranephric fat. So these are the layers covering the kidney. So in this, fibrous capsule is nothing but condensation of the fibrous stroma from the kidney tissue itself. So we have got fibrous capsule, which is nothing but condensation of the tissue of the kidney which is having. So fibrous stroma of kidney is going to form condensation above it. We are calling that as fibrous capsule, and it is going to cover the entire organ, and it is going to reflect as tubular sheath surrounding the major and minor calyces. And it can be striped off from granular kidney, which is intimating the provided organ is healthy. If it is not healthy, we can't stripe off the fibrous capsule from the kidney. And talking about perinephric fat, it is present between the fibrous capsule and renal fascia, and it is a fatty layer which is seen in the borders of the kidney. So only in the borders we have got this fat collection called perinephric fat. So fibrous capsule, it is condensation of fibrous stroma. Perinephric fat is fat collection seen in the borders of the kidney, present between fibrous capsule and renal fascia. Now we will go on to details of renal fascia. So talking about renal fascia, which is otherwise known as fascia of Geroda, we have got this fascia as a condensation of extraperitoneal connective tissue. So we are dealing about renal fascia. So this is nothing but condensation of extraperitoneal connective tissue. So extraperitoneal connective tissue is going to form a condensation around the kidney. We are calling that as renal fascia. And this renal fascia, laterally it is going to continue as fascia transversalis, which is a fascia seen in the abdomen region. So here this renal fascia is again divided into 2 types of fascia. So the layers we have got for renal fascia is 2 in number. One is anterior layer, another one is posterior layer. Again, anterior layer is called with a special name called fascia of Tolt. So we have got fascia of Tolt as anterior layer, and the posterior layer is called as fascia of Zucker-Kendall. Zucker-Kendall. Now we are going to trace this renal fascia. So for tracing the renal fascia, we have got some layers. Tracing of renal fascia is under lateral, medial, anterior, above, anterior layer and posterior layer are the layers we have in renal fascia. We are tracing it above and below. So tracings, we are going to trace this anterior and posterior layer laterally, medially, above and below the kidney. Now we are going to trace it laterally. So first we are going to lateral tracing. Lateral tracing. For that we have got kidney. So we are having a vertebra behind. So just on either side of the vertebra we have got our kidney. So in cross section we are seeing, so we have got kidney, and here we have got this aspect as anterior layer. So anterior layer of kidney, and this is considered as posterior layer. So this will be posterior layer of kidney. So posterior layer of renal fascia. So this is the fascia I am showing, renal fascia. This is the kidney. So this is anterior layer and this is posterior layer. Now what will happen is we are tracing it laterally. So this anterior and posterior layer laterally, it is going to join together and form a fascia called fascia transversalis. So fascia transversalis is the fascia which is formed by union of anterior and posterior layer of renal fascia. So on either side it is going to form fascia transversalis. Now we are going to see medial tracing also. So we are going to have medial tracing. So medial tracing, again we have got our vertebra. So now we have got anterior to vertebra, same like lateral tracing. We have got kidneys on either side with anterior layer and posterior layer. Here the vertebrae, it is going to give some muscle attachment, such as we have got psoas major muscle and also quadratus lumborum muscle. So here we have got psoas major and quadratus lumborum muscle. So both these things also is covered by a fascia. So psoas fascia and lumborum fascia will be covering here, that we will deal later. So same way on either side, here also we will be having the fascia covering. So now what will happen for the posterior and anterior layer of renal fascia is, medially we have got in the middle region aorta and inferior vena cava, which is going to give branches. So renal artery and renal vein will be arising here. So anterior layer, if you are tracing anteriorly, it is going to cover all the renal vessels, and then it is going to join with the opposite side anterior layer of renal fascia. So opposite side renal fascia, anterior layer joining with the other side renal fascia. That is the tracing of anterior layer in the medial aspect by covering the renal vessels. In the posterior layer, we have got posterior layer of renal fascia. It is coming, and then it is going to join with psoas fascia. So it is going to join from either side to psoas fascia, and then it will get attached to the vertebra. So lumbar vertebra, it is going to get attached. So this is lumbar vertebra. So now we have got medial tracing. This is anterior and this is posterior. Anteriorly it is joining with opposite side fascia and covering the vessels. Posteriorly it is joining with psoas fascia from either side, and then it is going to attach with lumbar vertebra. So this is the lateral and medial tracing of renal fascia. Now we will move on to above and below tracing of this fascia. So we are going to trace above. Above tracing of renal fascia. So while we are tracing the renal fascia in the upper aspect, what we have is, we have got our kidney. So in that section we will be having kidney in this shape, and above that we have got a gland, and that gland is nothing but suprarenal gland. So we have got a gland above the kidney, that is suprarenal gland, and above that we have got diaphragm. So we have got diaphragm on either side, and diaphragm, below that diaphragm we have got a fascia covering the lower part, that is subdiaphragmatic fascia. from either side we will be having subdiaphragmatic fascia. Now we are tracing the anterior and posterior layer. So this anterior and posterior layer, it is coming above and then it is going to join in the upper end of kidney. So both the layers, anterior and posterior layer, will join in the upper end. Then after it will split again to cover whole of the suprarenal gland, and then it is going to rejoin again and then getting connected with subdiaphragmatic fascia of diaphragm. So this is an imaginary picture I am showing to understand well. So we have got diaphragm here. So above we have got diaphragm. Below diaphragm we have got subdiaphragmatic fascia, and this is suprarenal gland, and this is the kidney. Now we have got anterior and posterior layer. It is joining in the upper end of kidney. Then it is splitting again and joining in this above the suprarenal gland, and then it is going to form a layer and getting attached to subdiaphragmatic fascia. This is the tracing of above tracing of the renal fascia, anterior and posterior in the upper part. Now we have got this part which is getting connected to suprarenal and subdiaphragmatic fascia as suspensory ligament of diaphragm. So we have got suspensory ligament of suprarenal. So that's why suprarenal is holded in proper position, and that ligament is called as suspensory ligament of suprarenal gland. So this is how we have got tracing of upper aspect of the kidney. So now we have got lower aspect. In the lower aspect we don't have much. We have got some vessels coming out, we have got for below tracing. So below tracing we have got a kidney with the ureter emerging. So now we have got the fascia coming below and joining with and it is going to cover whole of the ureter. So after in the lower end it is going to cover whole of the ureter, and then it is going to continue without fusing. Without fusing it is going downwards and getting lost in the iliac fossa. So it will get lost at the extraperitoneal tissue of iliac fossa. It is not going to fuse. So it is do not fuse, and it will get lost in extraperitoneal tissue of iliac fossa. So this is how below tracing happens. So above, below, and lateral and medial tracing we have seen. For renal fascia, I will summarize again. Renal fascia, we have got two layers, anterior and posterior layer. So we are considering both anterior and posterior layer, how it is passing medially, covering the vessels, and then it is going to join with the opposite side in the anterior aspect. Posterior side it is joining with psoas fascia. In the lateral aspect it is going to form fascia transversalis, and above part it is going to fuse with diaphragm at last, forming suspensory ligament of suprarenal gland. In the lower part it is not going to fuse and it is getting lost in the iliac fossa. So these are about the details of renal fascia we have to know. Now we will move on to the next layer, that is fourth layer. We have got paranephric fat. So same like second layer we have got perinephric fat. We have got the outermost layer as paranephric fat, and this fat is present between the renal fascia which we have dealt now and thoracolumbar fascia. Between the renal and thoracolumbar fascia we have got this paranephric fat which is seen abundant in the posterior surface of kidney. So perinephric fat, I will just tell, we have got perinephric fat as second layer of covering which is seen in the sides of kidney. And now paranephric fat, it is seen in the posterior surface of kidney. So this is the thing you have to remember. So these two layers, second and fourth layer of the covering of kidney. So now we will move on to parts of the kidney. So talking about parts, we have got again two parts such as so we are dealing with parts of kidney. So here we have got surfaces, end and borders. All are 2 in number. So 2 surfaces, 2 ends and 2 borders we have got. 2 surfaces are, we have got anterior and posterior. Same way 2 ends are, we have got upper and lower, and 2 borders are lateral and medial border. So these are the things we have got. And medial border, about medial border to know, we have got a central concavity in the medial border as we discussed earlier, and that medial concavity is called as hilum of kidney. So that is hilum of kidney. Now we will see each part separately. First we will move on to the surface of the kidney. So talking about the surface, first we are moving on to anterior surface. So anterior surface of kidney. So here anterior surface, it will be convex compared to posterior surface. That is the important thing we have to remember. Anterior surface is convex compared to posterior surface, which is flat. And the relation, if we are seeing for anterior surface, it is differing for both right and left kidney because of the orientation of the organs. Whereas posterior surface relation, it is same for both right and left. So anterior surface, it is important because of the differing in or difference in right and left kidneys relation that we are going to see now. So talking about anterior surface of right kidney. So first we will move on to right kidney, and we have got left kidney. So talking about right kidney, we have got our organ. So this is right kidney. This is left kidney we have got. So in right kidney we have got some organs related in the anterior surface of right kidney, such as relating to the concavity or near to the medial end. We have got an concave organ related. That organ is nothing but duodenum. So we have got duodenum with a C-shaped curve, and that curve is related just anterior to the right kidney. Just above the duodenum, we have got in the upper end of right kidney a part or an organ related, that is suprarenal gland. So we have got suprarenal gland related in the upper end. And then we have got the upper area just below the suprarenal gland. And this whole area is related to the liver. So we have got liver related over here. We have got in liver visceral surface, and in that visceral surface we have got relation of anterior surface of right kidney. Just below the hepatic area or liver area, we have got again 2 areas such as lateral and medial. The lateral one is called as colic impression, and the medial one is called as jejunal impression. Here we have got transverse colon flexure, that is hepatic flexure braced, and here we have got coils of jejunum. So these are the 5 structures or 5 organs related to anterior surface of right kidney. I will summarize again. In the medial aspect, we have got a C-shaped curve organ, that is duodenum, and in the upper part we have got suprarenal gland, and here we have got hepatic area where we have got inferior surface of liver related, and this area is colic impression, and that is for transverse colon hepatic flexure, and below one we will call as jejunal area. So jejunal impression will be seen. So these are the 5 organs related in the anterior surface of right kidney. And one more thing we can remember is we have got some peritoneal covered structures, such as we have got duodenum, suprarenal gland are non-peritoneal, and this colon, transverse colon are non-peritoneal organ relation. So these are non-peritoneal, the colic also non-peritoneal. The hepatic and jejunal will be peritoneal relation. So it is having peritoneal covering with it. While it is getting related, we have got peritoneum of these areas related with this kidney. So this is how we have got right kidney relation. Now we will move on to left kidney, which is differing in structures because anterior surface of both the things we have got different organs such as duodenum, which is not paired. All these things are not paired structures, so we have got different relation in the anterior surface of left kidney also. So in the middle part of the left kidney, we have got body of pancreas passing. So we have got body of pancreas passing in the middle part of the anterior surface of left kidney, and the upper part, as we said here in right kidney, same way we have got suprarenal gland related, and here in the lateral aspect we have got spleen related. So here we have got spleen, and this triangular area is related to stomach. So we have got posterior-inferior surface of stomach related in this triangular area. So that is gastric impression. And just below the pancreas we have dividing this into again medial and lateral area. So again lateral area is related to colon, transverse colon, but splenic flexure. And here we have got again jejunal impression, which is having coils of jejunum with it. So in the middle part we have got pancreas, and here in the upper end we have got again left suprarenal gland, and here lateralmost one we are calling as splenic impression, spleen, and this triangular area we have got stomach, so gastric impression, and below in the lateral part we have got colic area or colic impression, and here we have got jejunal area. So this is how we have got organ related in the anterior surface of left kidney. Here to talk about peritoneum again, we have got suprarenal gland as like this. We have got no peritoneum covering, so non-peritoneal. And then we have got pancreas also non-peritoneal, and colon also non-peritoneal. The other things are peritoneal covered. So gastric peritoneal and jejunal peritoneal and spleen peritoneal. So 3 non-peritoneal area and 3 peritoneal covered area will be seen related to anterior surface of left kidney. So these are the relation in the anterior surface of right and left kidney we have got to know. Now we will move on to the posterior surface of the kidneys. So talking about posterior surface. So posterior surface of kidney we are going to see. So which is, as I said before, this posterior surface is common for both right and left kidney. So we will see in one organ, that is enough. So kidney, if you are taking right side kidney, we have got again for left side also same relation in posterior aspect. So we are dividing this into upper area and lower area. We are dividing this into upper and lower area. In upper area, we have got relations of diaphragm placed. So we will be having diaphragm placed, and just above the diaphragm we will have got lung and pleura. As you know, we have got lungs with the pleura covering, and the space between the diaphragm and the lung, this space is called as costa diaphragmatic recess. So we have got costa diaphragmatic recess present. So this is costa diaphragmatic recess, and then we have got some vertebrae extending in the upper aspect such as 11th and 12th rib. So these are the upper relation, such as we have got lungs with pleura, and the recess is costodiaphragmatic recess. So that is the first relation, costodiaphragmatic recess. Below that we have got diaphragm and just below that we have got 11th and 12th rib. So these are the three structures related in the posterior surface upper area. In the lower area we have got relation of medial one as psoas major and middle one as quadratus lumborum with its fascia, and the lateral one as transverse abdominis muscle. So we have got psoas major muscle, quadratus lumborum and transverse abdominis. So along with this, three muscles and its covering fascia, that is psoas fascia, lumborum fascia, and then we have got transverse abdominis, fascia transversalis covering it. Along with this, we have got again some vessels present, that is subcostal vessels. We have got 12th rib here. So just below the 12th rib, we have got subcostal artery and subcostal vein placed. Subcostal artery and subcostal vein along with subcostal nerve. So subcostal nerve and iliohypogastric nerve and ilioinguinal nerve. So these are the structures related in the lower part, such as, I will summarize again, we have got these two vessels as subcostal vessels, artery and vein, and the nerve is subcostal nerve, and this is ilioinguinal nerve and iliohypogastric nerve. So these are the structures related in the lower part. So three muscles with all these structures are related in the lower part of posterior surface. In the upper part, only three relation: costodiaphragmatic recess, diaphragm, and 11th and 12th rib. So this is how we have got relation in the posterior surface of kidney. Now we will move on to, we have seen details of surfaces, that is anterior and posterior surface, how it is differing in right and left part, and now we have related the posterior surface where the relation are same in both right and left kidney. Now we will move on to the another part of kidney, that is ends of the kidney. So talking about the ends of kidney, we have got two ends. Two ends, as you already know, we have got upper and lower end. So here we already have discussed this. So we have got a median plane. In this, the kidney is placed in such a way where upper end, so this is the upper end, this is the lower end. Upper end is placed near to the midline and lower end is far from the medial plane. So from the medial plane, the upper end is about 2.5 cm and the lower end it is about 7.5 cm in length. And here the upper end is thicker and rounder compared to the left end. Lower end. So upper end is thicker compared to the lower end, and these are the distance we have got to calculate for the ends of kidney. So now we will move on to borders. So borders, as you know, we have got two borders, medial and lateral. So talking about medial and lateral border, here you can make out, this is the lateral border. So lateral border is convex and thick, and the medial border we have got convexity in the, so I will show you again an image. So this is the lateral border and this is the medial border. The lateral border, it is convex. Medial border, upper and lower part is convex, in the middle part is concave. Why? Because from this concavity we have got some structures emerging. So we are calling this concavity as hilum of the kidney. So this is hilum of kidney. That is medial border, middle part is called as hilum of kidney, where we have got renal pelvis going to pass as ureter. So we have got ureter over here along with some artery and vein, that is renal artery and renal vein. So about the renal artery and renal vein we will get to see in detail. Now you just understand we have got medial border and lateral border. Lateral border is convex, medial border we have got hilum of kidney with three structures, ureter, renal artery and renal vein. So these are the structures seen in the hilum of kidney. Now we will move on to arterial supply of this particular organ. Arterial nerve supply, venous drainage and lymphatic drainage. So first we will deal with blood supply. Blood supply of kidney. So blood supply, first we are going to see arterial one. Arterial supply. So talking about arterial supply, we have got aorta and I am showing a right kidney. So we have got in the median aspect aorta. So from aorta we have got our renal artery coming. So this renal artery, before reaching the hilum, it is going to divide into two. So two divisions it is going to take place, that is anterior and posterior division. So we are having anterior and posterior division of the renal artery. So renal artery is the artery which is going to supply the kidney, and this renal artery, before joining the hilum, it is going to divide into two divisions, anterior and posterior. Here this anterior division, again while reaching the anterior surface of kidney, it will again divide into four segmental artery. Those are, we have got apical and upper anterior, middle anterior and inferior. So these are the segmental arteries or segmental branches coming from anterior division of renal artery. Apical, upper anterior, middle anterior and inferior. And now this posterior division, it is by itself, it will go behind. So I will show you posterior division. So just for showing posterior division, I am taking this image. Posterior division, it will go and it will divide itself into segmental branches on whole of the posterior surface. So this is posterior division. These all are segmental branches. So in such a way, it is going to supply whole of the tissue of kidney, anterior aspect and posterior aspect. And the segmental artery, what will happen is, segmental artery is going to give some lobar branches, and these lobar branches are going to give interlobar branches. At last it is going to form arcuate branches, which is going to give some smaller branches to supply each lobe of the kidney. So each lobules of the kidney. So this is how the arterial supply in kidney is happening. Segmental, so renal artery, main trunk, dividing into two division, anterior and posterior, which is giving segmental branches by dividing the kidney tissue in such a way. And from segmental artery we are having lobar, interlobar, at last arcuate branches. Now talking about venous drainage. So we have got venous drainage. So talking about venous drainage, we have got again right kidney and left kidney. Here the thing we have to notify is, right renal artery is comparatively smaller when compared to left renal artery. Here in inferior vena cava, from inferior vena cava is seen more towards the right side. So we have got renal vein coming from the kidney getting drained into inferior vena cava, which is smaller compared to left one. So left one will be larger. So because of the presence of inferior vena cava towards the right side and aorta towards the left side, we have got renal vein, right renal vein is smaller and right renal artery is larger. Right renal artery on the right side will be larger, renal vein on the right side will be smaller. Vice versa in the case of left side, artery and vein. So we have got right renal vein and left renal vein. So left one will be larger compared to right renal vein. So both the renal veins coming from the hilum of kidney, which is seen in the anterior aspect of hilum, it is coming towards the midline to drain in the inferior vena cava. So this is how venous drainage is happening. Now we will get to see lymphatics. So lymphatic drainage. Lymphatic drainage and nerve supply. Talking about lymphatic drainage, we have got aortic lymph nodes. So we have got kidney. We have got kidney on either side. In between we have got aorta. On either from aorta we have got renal artery which is passing to the kidney. On either side of aorta we have got some lymph nodes arranged, and those lymph nodes are nothing but lateral aortic lymph nodes. So this is aorta, and these lymph nodes are called as lateral aortic lymph nodes. So this is the area where the kidney will get drained. So kidney is getting drained into lateral aortic lymph nodes. Talking about nerve supply, we have got again nerve supply. We have got same like other organs, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic, it is mainly by nerves from T10 to L1. So L1 vertebral nerves, that is thoracic nerve T10, T11 and T12, and lumbar one nerve, that is L1 nerve. Parasympathetic is mainly by both the vagus nerves, right and left vagus nerve. And this is all about the details of anatomical feature of right and left kidney we have got. Now talking about the applied aspect, we have got a lot of applied aspect in the developmental anomalies such as horseshoe kidney and polycystic kidney, multiple kidney, and such a way we have got so many developmental anomalies in kidney wise. To talk about kidney in other clinical aspect, we have condition called stone formation in kidney. So stone formation is a reputed condition seen in the kidney because of the collection of uric acid. So that's all about the details of kidney we have got here. Thank you for listening this video.